It's a weak excuse, I know, but talking as you spank a P1 is quite difficult. And on that final smoky lap, it suddenly dawned on me that I might not ever drive a P1 again, and I wanted to enjoy it, not just jabber at a camera. This car is easier to drive than a 12C. Its great big turbocharged engine has throttle response to rival a Ferrari F12. It has an open differential, but clever use of the rear brakes replicates an LSD, and it feels completely mechanical and intuitive to drive and drift. Brake steer means you can pile into turns, trail braking all the way, and the only limiting factor is the tyre. It's a brilliant street track combo from Pirelli, but eventually it has to give in to all that energy. And the toys, well, they're great fun too. Manual DRS to stall the rear wing, and manual iPass to give that Knight Rider turbo boost. Shame I didn't have the spare mental capacity to use them. You see, the P1 is just that fast.
Chris, when you came back from driving that P1, you said it felt like a car that had been dropped out of space. Now that you've had some time to reflect on that and drive some other cars, do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I think I do. I think the performance is otherworldly. The way it delivers the performance is otherworldly. The way it looks is otherworldly. It's a different...
What are you trying to say exactly?
I'm trying to say it's a whole new thing. No, it's a step beyond any other hypercar I've driven.
Even LaFerrari in 918?
In some respects, yes. I particularly, in hindsight, having driven them all, I love the size of the car. It's tiny. Yeah. It's a packaging exercise as much as anything else. And I think
so is the F1.
Exactly, and I think that the McLaren philosophy is about weight and size, and it's Formula One cars. Often when you see them up close, you can't believe where they put everything. Yeah. And the P1's like that as well. I mean, you know, what do you think to look at? It's a stunning thing, isn't it?
It is. It's not as pretty as a Ferrari, but you certainly look at it and go, well, that'll be fast.
Should a McLaren be pretty?
Yeah, I think any hypercar should be
pretty.
It's got to be
if they want to
attractive.
keep selling them.
Shouldn't it be a statement? Shouldn't it be something that excites you and quickens the pulse? Not necessarily something that's pretty or beautiful. I love the detail of the mesh rear. The way you can see, it's a bit naughty. It's like you can see the gizzards, you see the
I think you need to be able to walk up to it. If you're walking up to it on the street and look at it, and it has to strike that emotion in you where you're like, oh my goodness, you know. I don't want to be looking at a spacecraft. I want to be looking at an automobile.
I think also where McLaren were very clever is that they've merged the sort of functional technology with theatre brilliantly. That track mode, when you press the button and
does a little
dash
dance.
does that sort of dipping down, whatever it is, 100 mil, it's nuts. And then the spoiler goes sort of woof like this. I'm sure that there were people in Maranello when they saw that on the video went, oh, I wish we'd done that, you know? And I think the balance of theatre in the car is fantastic, and it's not rubbish. The only gimmick in the car are the DRS and the boost button. It's going off so quickly in the cabin.
Don't you just want to let the car do that?
Exactly, let the car, and that's where the Ferrari actually is very clever, but we'll come to that in another episode. But I think, you know, I tried to stall the wing myself, and I missed the point because I was too busy trying not to crash. Yeah. And, you know, the turbo boost button, whatever that is, I mean, that's just straight out of Knight Rider, isn't it? It's there because it wants to be the Knight 2000, sorry, Knight Industries 2000.
Well, someone had a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And that's enough sometimes.
I think that's right as well. So, yeah, there's a sense of fun about the car. And also, the way it drives is actually more mechanical, more analog than the 12C and the 650S, which I think is important for the next direction for McLaren. Quite clearly, they've taken on board the criticism of the 12C and the 650S perhaps being a little bit too clinical, and the P1 feels more playful, which is nuts, and it's more controllable when you step beyond the limit.
I have a question. What were you thinking as you were sliding toward that wall? Did you think you could make that, or was that just like...
You're not thinking, are you? You just get on and do it. Because if you stop and think about what you're doing, you'd say, this is bonkers, and I'm not going to carry on because something's going to go wrong. And in fairness, just out of picture is Chris Goodwin, you know, kind of boss of that project, the development driver, the face of the dynamics of the car, and he's just sitting there. And the first time we came through sideways, I just saw him do this, and he went, oh. And I also feel really sorry for them because, you know, they've developed that car to be the ultimate.
To not do that.
Yeah, and then an idiot like me gets in it and goes, wow, it's a drift day.
Yeah, but we all know, I mean, that's going to sell cars. I mean, it does.
It does.
You know, let me ask you a question. What do you think? I mean, did that car truly elevate the industry? Did every other hypercar maker look at that car and go, ah, crap?
I think the two things about it that are really interesting is the way the chassis can morph into something quite different. So you've got a road setting which is comfortable, but then you've got this track setting which is really harsh and has genuine downforce. And the other thing which I carp on about in the video too much is this notion of taking heavy turbocharging, augmenting it with electric torque, what they call torque fill. I love that. And they make it feel like a normally aspirated V12. It's bloody snake oil. It is witchcraft. And I love that. So yeah, I'm in a fantastic car.
What's next? What can they do next?
I think they need to try and somehow give us 7/8 of that technology in the next car they make. Will that be the little one? I'm not sure we'll get it in the little car, the 911 rival that's going to be with us fairly soon, but yeah, the next one that's going to be $200,000, $300,000, well more actually, that's pounds, so $400,000. That's going to need to be 7/8 of a P1.